and welcome to today's Reiki session. Today we're going to focus on our cognitive well-being, which is why I have in the center of my grid this beautiful little piece of hematite. I'm also wearing a hematite mala, and hematite is our beautiful oracle card for today. So let me read that to you real quick. Hematite is for mental strength. It's time for you to ground your energy. You need to recenter yourself to regain balance in your life. Take time today to care for your mental and physical health. When your body, or when your physical body is healthy, your spirit is healthy, and everything comes into equilibrium. It's very important for you to have balance in your life. You can achieve this by focusing on what's important to you. What do you like to do? What brings you the most joy? Alleviate stress by consciously choosing to have more fun, get creative, and be active. Think outside the box. Try different things and enjoy new experiences. If you have a tendency to overthink things at any given moment, take a moment to relax and see if you can look at the situation from a different perspective. Get help if you need to. Once you decide what you want to do, stand firm in your beliefs. Know that you are very powerful. You can use your positive energy to help heal and inspire others. Hematite is associated with the root chakra and is known as the stone of the mind. To help ground yourself, you may like to wear a hematite bracelet or have a hematite crystal in your pocket. One quick note about hematite is you see a lot of magnetic bracelets out there that claim to be hematite. Hematite in nature is not magnetic. So if you are coming across hematite that's magnetized, that is not a natural product. It may have been hematite or it may actually be hematite, but it's been chemically altered so that it's got that magnetic property, just so that you know. So before we get too far along in our process, I've got a few essential oils to help with our mental health or our cognitive processes. The first one is In Tune. I've mentioned this in a previous video. This is the Focus Blend. So there's a lighter scented version of this for children, which is called Thinker, but this is kind of the heavy duty In Tune. I personally don't care for the smell of this oil, but it is extremely beneficial for focus, particularly if your brain works like mine and you're kind of all over the place. So I'm going to place this very, very strong patchouli smelling oil on the very, very, very base of my spine, just above the sacrum. So it's still on the nervous system, it will still be active. A lot of people put it on the back of the neck, but it's just too close for me. So I also have frankincense here, and I'm going to apply a stripe of that across the forehead. And I'm gonna run that along my spine in the back of the neck, because frankincense smells better to me. And last but not least, I have peppermint. Peppermint helps with alertness. So frankincense helps with nervous system transmission and pretty much all processes in the body. And then peppermint is a beautiful oil just to help kind of wake up the senses and really bring the mind to more alertness. So now that we've gone through all of that, I'd like to invite you to start deepening the breath. Allow yourself to relax in a comfortable position, and we'll go ahead and get started. You can let those eyes close. And begin to enjoy your session today. With so much going on at the present moment, it's easy to get swept up in thought, carried away, or to feel confused or fatigued mentally, which is a big deal. There's a whole lot of upheaval that's been occurring, and I've had lots of conversations recently about the idea of apocalypse, which basically is just literally translates to a great awakening. And I think that maybe when viewed from the perspective of what apocalypse actually means, it doesn't have to be catastrophic and something that we have to worry about. Yes, of course, we need to be mindful and concerned. But if all we're doing is just becoming awake and more aware, that's a whole lot less scary to think about, and a lot easier for us to wrap our minds around and to kind of ease those fears and a lot of that stress. If we just think about it as an opportunity to learn, an opportunity to grow, to become more wise, to become more aware, more attuned to the things that are going on in our experience. So hopefully that helps to kind of alleviate any mental burden that you happen to be experiencing at this moment or have been experiencing recently. If you'd like, you can place the hands, one on the forehead, one on the back of the head. Or if it's more comfortable or accessible to you, you can place the hands, one on either side of the temple. I'll demonstrate in just a moment once your chakras are cleared. You can place the hands really anywhere on the head if you so choose it. There's a master tapping point at the top of the head, the very, very top of the skull, the crown, where you can also just lightly tap all around the top of your head. If you feel like you just need to connect a little bit more physically with your body as we go through this process. So hands can be placed here. So one on the forehead, one on the back of the head. You can place the hands on the temples. You can rest the hands over the eyes if that's supportive to you. Or you can also just tap the top of the head. Just really bring that physical connection with the mind, body during this experience today. If you happen to be experiencing a lot of chronic headaches or overthinking or racing thoughts, this will be the perfect session for you today. Just kind of start to release all of that. I always like to ask my body when I'm having interesting symptoms or racing thoughts, what is this trying to tell me? What is the purpose of what I'm experiencing right now? And oftentimes, if I'm quiet, I'll get my answer. If I just take a moment to be quiet and listen, my body will tell me exactly what it needs. Let's just take a moment to do a little brief breathing exercise. I've done this in yoga many times, just to help focus the mind, just to give it a break from all of the excessive thinking, the excessive worry that we're having to do lately. So we're going to just visualize the breath coming in through that third eye chakra, so right in the center of the forehead between the brows. And just focus your attention on that spot. How does it feel? What sensations are you experiencing? Just hold that attention right there in that third eye. Any thoughts that float into your head, any concerns about what you have to do today or what you have already done today, we're just going to let that go. They're going to float in and out of our mind like clouds. No attachment to any of them. Just focus that energy, focus that breath on the third eye. You can engage what's known as the Ujjayi breath, which is basically a fancy word for kind of Darth Vader breathing. Just kind of constrict the back of the throat just a little teeny tiny bit, whatever's comfortable for you, just so that you can hear yourself breathe. You can hear that breath coming in and out, if that's supportive to you. Otherwise, just maintain that focus on the third eye. So let's just release that attention from the third eye. We're going to do some very, very gentle energy exercises. Again, focusing on the head. So we're just going to place the palms just above the ears. We're going to place the fingertips meeting in the center of our head, right around the center of the hairline. We're just going to gently stroke those fingertips apart. This is a Donna Eden exercise. She's kind of the guru of energy healing, and she just kind of recommends you just do this gentle stroking exercise. Don't worry if it messes up your hair. We're just gonna do this for a second. And now again, with those hands in the same position, touch your middle fingers together. Where your middle fingers meet, there's a spot, a beautiful little kind of acupressure point. We're just gonna press very lightly, just gentle pressure right here. If it feels better to tap lightly, you can do that too, but we're just gonna press into that spot. Just for a minute. Just kind of release any extra energy that's here. Very nice. Now we're going to release that, and we're just going to do some gentle tapping around the temples and the eyebrows, center of the brow. Just very, very gently. Kind of like you're tapping on makeup. Very, very gentle. And now we're going to take our hands, same exercise like we did before. So those palms are going to be down around the temples, and the fingertips are going to meet in the center of the forehead, and we're just going to stroke that forehead, stroke it out. Again, this does a similar thing. We're just opening up the pathways, allowing any excess to float out. And you can actually stroke all the way back to the hairline if you want to. Very nice. All right, go ahead and release that. So now we're going to take the fingertips, and you're going to reach up the neck in the back of your head, and you're going to find those two little occipital points. So in the very back of your head, you're going to find those 2 points where your skull kind of sticks down a little bit. And then you're going to run those fingers up to the point where they meet. It kind of feels like a little archway. And you're just going to gently massage that spot. So this is where our skull kind of joins with our spine. We're just going to kind of give that some energetic love right now. So our hands are very powerful electromagnets. So they call energy and blood flow to the areas of our body where we place them. And especially the way that we're wired neurologically. Go ahead and release that if that feels comfortable. So the way that we're wired neurologically is we have pain receptors and we have touch receptors. So every time we hurt ourselves, so like if you bash your shin on a piece of furniture, for example, your immediate instinct is to touch it, because that touch sensation overrides the pain sensation. So whenever you're feeling pain, again, in this physical vessel, we really respond to physical contact. So if you provide touch, you can do any of the exercises we've just done, especially if you have a headache or you're feeling stressed or overwhelmed, you can certainly do that. They have those little kind of scalp massager things, little claw thingies. You can do that. You can go get a massage if that's supportive to you. Just our body really responds well to physical touch, especially when we're doing energy work. So you can always incorporate any of those in your healing process, especially if you're feeling like you really, really need a little additional support in a given moment. All right, I'm going to invite you to do a quick scan of your body, scan of your thoughts. Just notice anything that might still be present, or maybe something that's present now, like an inspiration that you didn't have before we started our session today. Just take note of any extra areas or any places where you need a little extra love today. We're just going to be gentle with ourselves, pay attention to what we need. And even if we need a mental break, and by mental break I mean not parked in front of the TV, just kind of watching whatever nonsense on Netflix or whatever, or flipping through social media on our phone or anything like that. I'm talking about a true mental break where you just sit quietly for a few minutes, as long as you can tolerate. If it's supportive, you can play some soft music in the background, but just take a moment to just rest. Allow whatever thoughts that are floating through your head, especially ones that you might be perseverating on, just allow those to settle. Just allow them to be, just kind of give them a space to kind of run around in your head for a second. Just kind of looking at them like you would look at old photos. And then when you're done, put them down. And once you put them down, they don't have to run around in your head anymore. They can just, okay, you've been acknowledged. Thank you for your message, whatever it is, even if it's fear, anxiety, worry, preoccupation, whatever. Just gonna look at them like an old photo and put them down. Once they've been put down, we don't pick them back up again. We just accept that they are what they are. Sometimes this is a really, really helpful exercise when we're really feeling overwhelmed or just kind of at the end of our limit in terms of coping. So just take those moments. It can only take like 2 to 3 minutes, longer if you need it, to just be. Just kind of empty everything out. Journaling is an excellent way of doing this. If you want to journal, get your thoughts out on paper or out on a computer. You can also do audio journaling where you take a recording app on your phone and just talk out whatever it is. Sometimes when I do this, I have the most incredible breakthroughs. So that's another way that you can kind of declutter whatever's going on with you mentally. And just kind of give those thoughts a space to do what they need to do to process themselves out so that you can release that energy and focus it somewhere else. And then again, if you require additional support, there are always supports available to you, certainly within your area, and I'm always a resource you can utilize as well. All right, let's begin to bring our focus back into this time and space as we begin to close. Let's bring the hands to heart center and begin our slow, deep breaths. Inhale and exhale. Breathing in the light and releasing the clutter. Last one, deep inhale and release. Thank you for taking this time to heal with me today. Namaste.